Coming up on this episode of the Spiro Podcast.
If you just presented and you haven't followed up with someone or you haven't tracked some metrics on it, then you kind of did it for nothing.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform. It's designed to help you maintain, run, but ultimately really to help you grow and scale your real estate media business. I'm Craig Magrum, host of the podcast. Always good to have you here. We hope that if you're a longtime listener or even a recent listener, that you found some value in the discussion of running business in this industry that we've put forth. If you're a brand new listener, welcome. We're glad to have you. We really like to celebrate success and see people be successful in the real estate media business. Let me introduce our co-host and Spiro owner and founder, Todd Kivimaki. Welcome back, Todd.
Craig, it's, as always, great to be on here today. We've got some exciting things to talk about. You briefly said that you've come to a conclusion on your tattoo. Your face tattoo, right?
Not a face tattoo.
What are you having tattooed on your face?
Nothing on my face.
Oh,
I was thinking about the inside of the right wrist there, but no, I read this stat and I'm like, now whether it's true or not, I'm going to just assume it's true. But I read there's a 30% chance increase of developing a blood cancer for tattoos. Now, I'm sure some people are going to say, no, that's right. And that it might not be true, but you know what? I just think I'm going on 50. Why at this point? Why chance it? So I think I'm going to pass up on the tattoo.
Decisions made.
Yeah. No judgment on anyone else. I've admired some really great looking tattoos. So anyway.
Well, good. I mean, I'm glad that we've discussed that. I mean, we have some exciting things to discuss. We talked about bathing last week, Craig.
Nature bathing.
Yes, nature bathing.
Which explain that, because even that sounds weird, Todd.
Yeah. If this is your first time listening to us,
sorry.
We really are sorry, but not sorry. Nature bathing is the idea of like when you all know, like you've looked at a screen too much or you focused on something too much and you just need to get your head clear. This is this idea of going out into nature, putting your bare feet in the ground and just taking a moment to just be grateful about the beauty of nature and breathe. Yes, Craig. And so this was a new term to me. Now, this isn't something new. I mean, if you live around me, you'll find my wife every morning going out with bare feet, whether it's 100 degrees or 0 degrees. And at first I gave her a little bit of a hard time. She'd probably kill me for even saying this. But then there is really something in this. So we took a challenge last week, Craig, and we did some nature bathing.
We did. I sent Todd the picture. Todd, we're going to have to give Justine these pictures so you can pop them up on the screen. But yeah, the idea was for us both to take some time and just, breathe and put our feet in the grass. And I have to confess, mine was my time of putting my feet in the grass. I can't say nature bathing. It just feels weird. It does. My time of putting my feet in my grass was actually on the job. I was at a shoot. It was a really picturesque, though, type of property. It had a pond in the front of the yard, and the sellers weren't there, so it was just me. And so I took my shoes off, took my socks off, and I put my feet in the grass right there in front of the pond. It was a beautiful moment.
That's great. And we did not get any complaints from any nosy neighbors at Wow, right. Craig, that you were sitting with bare feet by the pond. So
right. But it was a
good moment.
You got a moment too, right?
I did, yes. So I just walked out back of the office here. As you know, we're in the middle of a cornfield here, and we have a humongous, just beautiful tree out back. I sat underneath that. And Craig, in all seriousness, I noticed things. Like I noticed a caterpillar crawling on the grass and walking through the grass. And I noticed, I just could hear the corn blow, and I saw the sun come through, and I heard the birds, and I just noticed these things I've never noticed before, like the locust shells on the tree going up, and things that if you're just super fast, when I live super fast, I should say, I would have never noticed that thing. I know the trees out back. I know there's corn out back there. I had no clue at just how much was back there. It's good to put my feet in the grass and just I set 10 minutes on my stopwatch on my phone and turn my phone upside down, put it about 5 feet away from me, and just took it all in.
It's good. Speaking of corn and hearing the sound of the corn moving, did you know you can hear corn grow?
Is this a dad joke?
No, it's actually not a dad joke. I've heard it before. Again, you have to be really still. It's got to be a dead still day, like no wind, and it helps if it's really humid as well.
Okay.
The corn does really well in humidity, and if you're really quiet and you're out in the middle of a cornfield, and there's no cars driving by, you can hear it almost creak. It's subtle.
So the creaking is the idea that the stalk is growing and cracking. And
that's what I've heard. And I swear I've heard it before, once or twice. I don't slow down enough usually. Anyway, this is a weird podcast. Start to the podcast. But people are going to think we're a bunch of hippies and, nature.
Well, be a hippie with us. Post your nature bathing photo below. Please make it PG rated. Just your socks off. And yes, if you're looking at my picture, my feet really are that big. I have skis for feet and they're that white. So go ahead and make fun of them. It's fun. We'll all laugh at me.
My oldest son, we joke that he's got gigantic feet. Michael Phelps size feet. They're flippers. But he's still shorter than I am, and that irks him to no end. Okay, Todd, let's get back on track here. A great topic today. We're looking forward to. It's kind of an expansion of a topic we did back in March. Mm-hmm. We'll set that up in just a second. But first, you have a few announcements you want to make.
Yes, conferences in November. If you don't know where you're going, pick one of them. Go to Rep November 7th and 8th. It's in Las Vegas. We'll all be there. Come see us. If that week doesn't work for you, PMRE's 2 weeks later. If none of those work for you, come see us at the Spiro Sync in January. It is in Ohio. We have finalized dates. We have a save the date posted for you all on the Spiro Super User Facebook group. January 22nd and 23rd. It's going to be fabulous. I'm excited about that, Craig. So come to all of them. But this is where you really get out. You take a moment to breathe and you get some margin in your brain to think differently.
Right. Now, those conferences, when you take that deep breath at Spiro Sync, it's going to be the middle of January and it's going to be really cold. So just be careful how deep of a breath you take.
Yeah, exactly. You might be coughing.
Right.
Just real quick about Spiro Updates, and I'll just more or less give you guys a resource. I did a tech talk last week. We covered a ton of updates. So Titus is coming up. Titus is financing for your realtors, and this is going to help you increase your average order value. I shared 2 things with you that I hadn't shared before that are going to be part of that Titus update. They're going to be just incredible features. So if you need to get caught up, we won't take time here. Go grab that tech talk. Worst case, if you don't want to listen to all of it, ask a comment in the video or just download the video, give it to AI and have AI give you the information.
There you go. And we're going to be talking with the owner of Titus next week, correct?
Yes, next week. Nick's going to be on.
Looking forward to it. Cool. Alrighty. Well, without further ado, enough nature bathing talk and all of that. Let's dive into it. So, Todd, back in March, we did an episode called "The Fortune is in the Follow-Up" and talked about just the opportunities that we have to grow our business just by simply following up on phone calls and emails and discussions that we've had with clients and potential clients. And it was really good material. But you've got some great material for us today on some practical how-to steps and systems that will help what you refer to as plugging the bucket. Did I get that right? Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, plugging the
The
leaky bucket.
leaky bucket.
Right.
Yes, Craig. So we're going to continue with that, but we're going to dig in a little bit more. So if you listen to that podcast, please stick with us. We're going to go deeper. So the goal here is anytime you do anything is you just try to find one little nugget that you can use and adapt into your workflow. And this idea is, I think, a problem that plagues all of us, this idea of the leaky bucket.
Okay. So let's expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. So, I love analogies, Craig, and I thought this was just a fitting one for this podcast. But imagine your business is the bucket. Okay. And we all want to fill our bucket up with water, and the water represents the business, jobs coming in. It represents revenue. It represents a full business. Okay. So the water in the bucket. And water flows into the bucket, and that's potential business. All right. And there's a problem where you might have some cracks or some holes in your bucket. And as water flows in, it's flowing out. And it's okay, Craig. Every business has water, has some cracks. So I want to caution you to not try to make your bucket leak proof. Like on humongous ships, and even not even humongous, like large ships, they all take on some amount of water. And that water, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to make the hull or the boat that doesn't take on some amount of water. It's actually not a problem because they pump the water right back out. Okay. So I don't want you to make your bucket leak proof because you're going to have some cracks. But if your cracks and holes are larger than the water coming in, then we have a problem because your actual water level's going down, not staying the same or going up. And again, we want the water level to go up because our goal is to have a full bucket. If your cracks are bigger than the water coming in, then you are actually in a decline of your business.
So kind of going to that ship example of, it's kind of the opposite thing where if you're taking on too much water, you're going to sink. But you mentioned the pumps. There's a system there to take care of that issue. And I can't help but think of a job that I had years ago. I worked in an inside sales department, and hope you don't mind me telling the story, but our inside sales department, we had actually two divisions within that inside sales department. One was specifically designed to find new business. They were called the prospecting people. And then we had inside sales people that specialized in retention. So it was retaining the new clients that we were landing. And just like you said, we didn't keep 100% of our new clients, but had we not had that focus on retaining current clients, that loss could have been even bigger. So it was a system. It was a very simple system.
Yeah. And sometimes the most simple ones are the best.
Mm-hmm.
So before I tell you a simple system, but before we go through what a simple system is and a system that I use, I just want to ask a question, Craig. Okay. So I'd like to ask all of you out there. So wherever you're at, just think about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at following up? How good are you at doing what you say you're going to do? Okay. So I would say doing what you say you're going to do is critically important to getting and growing a business. If you think about it, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, your clients are going to think that you don't care about them. They're not important, that their business doesn't matter, or that you just run a crummy business.
Right. And
that's kind of
that impacts your integrity.
Yeah, it does. And that might be a little bit harsh. I'm not saying you all do this, but that is what the perception is when you don't follow up with someone. All right. So just rate yourself right now on a scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at following up? All right. And keep that number in mind. So now we're going to look at a couple of mechanisms, and this was taught to me by a coach, and he called it gather and focus. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, very simple system at its heart, but there is so much value in here. We're going to help you uncover this. So the idea of what gather and focus is that you take a dedicated time, okay, typically at the end of the week, where you have probably a 2-hour block, and it's just you. And we're going to go through some capture devices. We'll explain that in a second. We're going to go through some capture devices to help you find those cracks in your bucket to make sure that you do what you said you will do, and you'll follow up with people you've talked to.
So a very dedicated, systematized, is that a word? Systematized approach.
Yeah.
To find the leaks. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, and this is really simple. So the first thing is you'll sit down. I recommend a pen and paper. All right. So don't type, because when you type, how I do this all the time, right? If I type or I'm on the computer, what happens?
Interruptions,
15
pop-ups.
Oh my, yes.
It's crazy.
15 things come up, and now I'm 3 websites over and into something I never intended to be doing at that point. And I will say, Craig, this is something that I've been focusing on lately. Like I'm in the habit of, like, when I wait for something to process, like if I'm using AI and I prompt it with a message, there's a little bit of spinning time. And I've gotten in the habit that while that thing spins for, 10, 20 seconds, I'll switch screens and I'll work on something else.
How many times have we mentioned on this podcast we are not wired to multitask? I'm just as guilty. I am just as guilty. Can I share a quick story with you?
Yeah.
Tied into this. So this past week, my wife has been gone. She's been overseas on a mission trip in Madagascar. She's coming back tonight. Hallelujah. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I have found, and I don't know, I think this is commentary on me, and I need to work on this on me. But I have found when she's home, I am not as focused on, like, getting things done. We both can get into the habit of doom scrolling. When she is gone, I've noticed my phone, I don't pick up my phone as much, and I have gotten so much done this week just by not picking up the phone. I think part of it is I don't want her to come back to a dirty house, right? I don't want to be that husband. So I've gotten the dishes done. I've gotten the laundry done. I've packed, Zeke's school lunches. She gave me that task. Here's what you need to do. It's like, I don't want to drop the ball. It's kind of a matter of pride, right? But just going back to the basics and put the electronics down. It is so hard to do sometimes, but man, can we get a lot done when we go back to old school pen and paper, like you just mentioned.
It is amazing, Craig, how much better it is. So that's something that we all struggle with. So I'm saying this, and Craig and I say these things out loud just as much as it helps us remember what we need to do. So we're right there with you on this. All right. So first, you're going to spend 20 minutes and you're going to go through your text messages. Okay. So you have to be diligent here because you're picking up a piece of technology. You're not going to answer calls. You're not going to do anything but go to your text messages. Okay. So open up your phone. I've got my phone here. I'm going to go in and go through your text messages. All right. So if it's good for you, play a little music in the background just so you stay focused, because this is a time you're just collecting, you're gathering. That's the first part of this exercise, is just gathering. So I don't want you to feel, and in fact, you should not respond to anyone, no matter who it is, unless your mother's texting you and she needs help with something, like it's emergency, respond to your mother,
Yeah.
But go through and just gather information. Okay, so what we're going to do, and if you're not driving right now, you can do some of this so you get the idea. And it really is this simple, y'all. Like, I'm not giving you anything other than a very simple system, but it's going to save you and make you thousands and thousands or tens of thousands. There's deals in here that you would not believe. So scrolling through your text messages, this is the toughest one for me, Craig, to keep consistent with, because I have text messages can somewhat disappear when they go on once you read them, and you get 4 or 5 more text messages. That single text message gets pushed down, and you have to go find it. So scroll through here, look at these names. Okay, so here's someone. Okay, I need to respond to this one. Okay, so I found this one I need to respond to. I'm going to write down the name of the individual, and I'm going to write down just a quick note to help me understand what I need to do. Again, you're not doing it, you're just gathering. So literally spend 20 minutes, and yes, you're going to go through probably a few months of text messages.
Okay. That far back. Because that far back.
That far back, Craig, okay. Because how many of you did a broker presentation 3 months ago? Right? We talked to all you and we're excited. It's exciting to get that opportunity to go in and present. But if you just presented and you haven't followed up with someone or you haven't tracked some metrics on it, then you kind of did it for nothing. So I would go that far back and look at that. All right. So as you're doing this, and you won't actually do it right now, please take some time to disconnect, play some music, get in the zone of gathering. Okay. Again, gather and focus. We're just going to gather at this point and write it down. Now, let me ask a question again as you're looking at that. And if you've scrolled through 10 text messages, you have probably found someone that you need to respond to. And here's a pro tip here. It might not necessarily be that the person's waiting on you for something. You might have sent over a price list. You might have sent over a proposal, but it's the fact that you are waiting on them to get back to you. And again, in this relationship building sales process, you need to make that person feel important. Okay, so how many people just need a quick bump? And it could be, hey, happy Friday. Hope you had a fabulous week. Anytime to talk next week. Okay, or just make it something about what's going on this time of year. Hey, how was school for your kids? Did they enjoy their first day? You don't have to sell again. You're not going to sell in these, but look for text messages that you just need to bump back up. And this doesn't have to just be business. Like I talked about getting back to your mother. How many of y'all called your mother this week? All right.
Do we have to answer that?
No, we don't have to. We'll just have some silence here.
I've always been bad about phone calls.
And it's not that you don't want to, right, Craig?
Right. I think part of it is like all grown up, my mom would tell me, I'd be bored. And my mom would say, call one of your friends. It's like, Mom, guys don't talk on the phone. Girls talk on the phone. My sisters would make phone calls. And to this day, they call my parents much more regularly than I do. And it's not because I don't enjoy talking with my parents. Just get busy with life. You just have to, set priorities. Schedule it if you have to.
Honestly, scheduled. I was on the way home this last week. I was like, I have not called my mother lately. And I called her on the way home. I have a 7-minute drive home, y'all. Okay. So most of you have a longer drive home than me. And that's if I hit the red lights. Okay. Right. It might be 5 or 6.
All
7 minutes. Yeah, all 2 of them. Exactly. And my mom said, oh, son, it's so good to hear from you. I said, Mom, I was just thinking about you and just how was your week? And she said, oh, it was good. It was nice of you to call. And I said, Mom, I really felt obligated to call. And it's just my humor. She laughed about it. And, oh, son, yeah. How are the kids? And we just had a great conversation. All right. So it doesn't take long. And in fact, and I'm getting on a tangent here. I'll get off of it in a second. But the more time in between you touching base with someone like your mother, the longer you have to talk. So your brain goes, oh, wait a minute, I got to talk longer because I haven't talked to my mom in 3 months. Okay. If you call your mom every other week, those calls are much shorter, unless you wanted to be longer. Like I'll go over and see my mom and visit with her. But there's sometimes I just need to call and just make sure that she understands I think about her and she's important to me. So who in your text message list is important to you that you need to say that? It's as simple as that. There's a group of guys that I text pretty consistently. And it's just like, hey, hope you had a great week thinking about you. Hey, how's the family? And these are guys that are important to me. And it doesn't take long. Like, hey, have a good week thinking about you, man. Let me know if you need anything. All right. So let me ask the question again. As we've talked about this, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at doing what you say you're going to do?
I feel like mentally my number is dropping a little bit, Todd.
And it does for all of us, Craig. Okay. So this is just life because we just typically don't have this simple system or anything in place to make sure that we remember these people. It's not natural. And in fact, it almost feels a little bit bad for us to put on our calendar to remember to call mom. It's not though, y'all. It's not. Like Craig said, his sisters call a lot more than what he does. Okay, so they just naturally do it. If you need to touch base with people, just schedule it. It's not bad, okay? It's just that it doesn't come instinctual to you to do that, but it is important.
Right. The very fact that you're making the effort speaks volumes to the sincerity of what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. So next we'll continue.
I would say 20
minutes.
20 minutes on text, going back through text. Okay. So what's next?
Yeah. So next, we're just going to keep going through your capture devices, and capture devices are where information might come in. And we're going to go to your email. Again, technology, please be diligent, but just scroll through your inbox. Okay. So how many people in there need responded to? Craig, now, some people might use a flagging system. Some people might mark it on red.
That's what I do.
Some people might just hope that they remember it. How many of you all out there have 4,842 emails in your inbox?
They're all marked red, other than the ones that I have left unread because I know I need to get to them. But yeah.
Perfect. And that's a good system. I'm going to give you guys here some insight into what our system is, what I've worked as a simple system, and what our customer support team uses, sales team uses here at WOW for business emails. And you're going to say, Todd, this is so dumb simple, but it really is. And I'm telling you, it works because it's this simple. So inside my inbox, I have my inbox folder and I have a subfolder. All right. The subfolder is named complete. And what I do is my goal is to have my inbox, my main inbox, showing 0 emails. So how I get 0 emails is when an email comes in and there's something to do, I leave it in the inbox. And for me, Craig, it's okay. I just leave them red because just being in the inbox signifies that there's something for me to do.
Right.
Now, when I go and do that task or respond to that person, I move that email into completed. Okay, so boom, it's gone. It is not right in front of me. I spend a lot of time in my inbox, more time than I'd like to admit. But when there's very little or nothing in front of you in your inbox, that feels really good. Like it clears up my brain. And knowing that I've responded, and I know that everybody I needed to respond to has been responded to. All right. So simple task of just creating a subfolder in your inbox, name it completed. And your goal is to move and get back to everybody who needs something. Now, here's just 2 quick questions I get asked a lot of times. Number 1, if you're emailing someone and you need to remember to follow up with them, what do I do? Okay. So for me, very simple. Our sales team does this a little bit differently. But for me, if I need to follow up with somebody, I put it on my calendar. I move the email And then I go put on my calendar, follow up with so-and-so, and I paste the body of the email into the note section of the calendar event. That way I know that next Wednesday I'm going to follow up with Joe, and I'll get to that point and I'll do that task. Now at Wow, Craig, we use a CRM, right, for our sales team.
Yep. Yeah, we're using Pipedrive. And it's a similar type of thing where we have a task list, and same thing. The email will show up in the history of that client. But if I need to follow up, then I can assign a date and even a time when I'm going to, I'll make a title or a header of what the task is. And then I can just go back in the history and look at the notes of what the last conversation was and know exactly what I'm calling about.
Yeah. And as a goal, or just a simple process that we always use with the sales team, is there should always be a follow-up on everyone. Okay. Even if it's 12 months from now, 6 months from now, there's always a follow-up, right, Craig?
Yeah. So even like new clients we'll have an initial call, and then we'll have a second call once the media has been delivered. And then I set a third call or email or touch point of some sort, just to check back. I believe it's about 30 days later, where we just kind of touch, and it allows us to maintain that relationship and keep things warm.
Yep. Yeah. And it works, right, Craig? Simple, but it works. Yeah. So the second thing I was going to say is, if you're working in a team, if your team is working in one inbox, we have this as well. We have 7-10 people in one inbox at Wow. And we use the same system, the inbox, a completed folder. The only difference is that everybody on the team just has a color label. So it's very common in just about every email program that you can put a label on an email, and it's a color generally. And everyone's assigned a color. So Craig might be orange, I might be blue, Jess might be green. And what happens is emails come in, and if there's no label on it, somebody needs to work on it. If I'm going to work on it, the first thing I do is I put my blue label on it. I don't read through it. I don't begin to work on it. I claim that sucker, put my blue label on it. That syncs through everybody's inbox, and that does that just through the magic of technology. And then Craig would see a blue label on that, so he knows there's nothing for him to do. And I would then work on that. If I'm not the one to do it, I'm going to remove my label. Craig might see that, and then he might pick it up. But the cool thing about this is how we keep a lot of people in one inbox, and we know who's working on what. Once I'm done with that email, I move the email and I leave my blue label on it, and I move it to completed. And the reason why I leave my blue label on it is because if anybody's ever searching the inbox and this email pops up, they know who took care of this. So Craig could come back to me very easily and say, hey, back in April, you responded to so-and-so. Did they do this thing? All right. So it keeps that line of knowledge going.
Right. It's a great workflow, because then it really kind of, how do I put this? It kind of gives ownership or accountability to each person, each possible leak in the bucket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now, if you don't have a system right now, that's okay. And let's get back to the idea of gathering. You're just going to gather through your email. So scroll through your email, and again, go months back. Can you make it back to, it's August now. Can you make it back 6 months? Just set yourself 20 or 30 minutes here. Play your music, a radio station you like, and just go back. There's going to be some people in there that you need to respond to. I can guarantee, I didn't get back to Bob. Okay. Put that down. And again, you're just gathering this information. Just write it down on your notebook. And, the name, maybe the date, and something that prompts you so you can quickly and easily search for the email again. And then you can respond to Bob.
Right.
All right. So you're going to go through that.
You don't have to ask the question, what about Bob? You caught that?
Craig, I don't know how many of our listeners are going to get that, but I sailed on my first try.
Yes. Folks, if you didn't catch the reference, look up What About Bob, Bill Murray. You can thank me
Incredible
later.
movie.
You can thank me later. I had to. Bob. What about Bob?
I'm glad you did. That played almost constantly. There was a rotation of videos that my brothers and I played, and that was one of them.
I gotta watch that movie tonight now. That is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Okay. Bill Murray, just genius. Anyway.
Good one.
Okay.
All right.
Where were
so
we?
We'll just continue here, and you guys are understanding this cadence. But the thing I want to again caution you about is don't not do this because you think this is so simple. I can guarantee you, and you all are coming to me now saying, hey, August has really been bad. Like you guys are sending out the SOS flags, like seriously. And this is for those of you that I coach in Orbit that have really big businesses, and this is you all that are just starting. All right. So this is across the board. And so please don't not do it because it's so simple. Okay. The next thing I want you to go through, the next capture device is your calendar. Yeah. So go back into your calendar and scroll back, look at day by day. What events have you had on there? Ideally, if you can hide your shoots, probably hide those because there's probably not something actionable. Or maybe there is. Maybe if you see an agent name, it might trigger you to say, hey, I shot the first property for that agent and I was excited about getting that agent and I haven't heard from her. All right, you probably need to call the agent and just check in. How'd your summer go? Kids back to school? It's that simple. Again, don't call now. Just write the agent's name down. Okay, so look through all your calendar events. And this is a big one, Craig, because if a person was on your calendar, you probably went to them, you had a Zoom meeting with them. Like this took a lot of time. So are these people important to follow up with? Yeah, so we want to make sure we follow up with them. Absolutely. All right, 10 minutes on your calendar. Okay, here's a couple more, and this kind of encapsulates just about all of my capture devices. But I go through, bring out your phone again, and go through your photos.
Okay. Oh, yes, you've talked about this.
Yeah, so yeah. I use typically with a capture device, I use my phone as a capture device, the camera, and there's a lot of times I'll take a picture of something. It might be a picture of the screen. It might be something that I've written down, but I take a picture of it because there's something actionable for me to do. Here, you might also find the picture of the brokerage meeting you were at, the room, and that might trigger you to say, oh, I went to that. I need to follow up. Okay. So scroll back through your images. And do you have anything? Do you have a little nugget, a little flake of gold in there, sitting there? You got to get it up, okay? You got to get that into the jar. So write that name down, write that idea down.
Can I give a practical example of that?
Yeah, please.
So I didn't physically write it down. I'm going to have to start doing that. But I was going through my social media. I follow a lot of our clients that I serve in our market on Facebook. And of course, when I'm scrolling through, I see a lot of their activity. And an example, a client that I've worked with for a number of years now, and she's always been very, very happy. I saw a post from her come up, a new listing. Had professional photos, Todd, but it wasn't ones that I shot. It wasn't ones that Wow shot. So immediately I'm like, oh, what happened? I screenshot that post that had the address and everything. And I attached it to an email and shot it to my work email. This morning, I pulled up my email. I'm like, I'm going to take care of this before we dive into our meetings. Cause I haven't talked to her in a long time cause I've been busy with the busy season, and got her voicemail, left her voicemail. Hey, just wanted to follow up. I know we haven't talked in a while. Congrats on the new listing. So even though I didn't shoot it, I congratulated her on the new listing because that's important to her. And I did mention, I just got the awkwardness out of the way. I said, hey, I saw we didn't do the photos for that. Would love to chat, just get your feedback on things. She responded, I think, within about 30 seconds and said, hey, I'm just going into a showing, but can I call you back? I'm like, hey, no pressure, no rush. Take care of your showing. Just wanted to check in. I gave her a synopsis of the voicemail, and she said yes. Let's catch up. So no awkwardness, but we're going to have a good conversation. I'm going to find out the why. So just very simple. Screenshot, emailed it, followed up.
Yeah. It's that simple, Craig. That's such a fabulous technique. And get in the habit of doing it in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I will just give you one little tip and just some verbiage that I use if I'm standing in front of someone that I'm doing something for. Okay.
Yep.
I'll pull out my phone, and please be cognizant. I try to never have my phone when I'm with someone, because I feel it's rude, because they should have my attention. If I pull out my phone, I verbally communicate to them like, hey, I'm going to get this done for you. I'm just emailing myself a reminder. I'm emailing the staff right now. Verbalize that to them and then say, good, it's sent. I'll get this in the morning. Okay. And then put your phone back away.
Yep. Exactly.
So super simple things are just verbalize it. And if you tell them that you're going to get back to them in the morning, please get back to them in the morning. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to put it into your inbox, because just like Craig said, he got there, he already took the screenshot of the listing. If he would have left it in his camera, Craig, it probably would have disappeared forever, right?
At least for a while. Yeah. But that's where, if you make this a regular cadence, like you've talked about, you go through those photos every week, at least you're staying on top of it a week at a time, at the very least.
Yeah. Yep. Great. So that is gather and focus, y'all. And again, this is not a me thing. This was taught to me by a coach. His name's Austin Chevron, and he does this, and I find value in this. So I wanted to pass it along to you guys. I think you guys are working so hard out there, and I know some of you are saying like, oh, I need new business, and you've probably worked really hard to have opportunities to get business, and now those people are warm leads to you. Or they might be current clients, like Craig discovered today. We had already done a property for this individual. So it's awkward, like Craig said, to have those conversations, but you got to do it. You got to go find them. You got to have tough conversations. But the idea first is just gathering this and focus on what you've worked hard for to just push it across the finish line.
I wonder if it's hard for us, Todd, somewhat to, at least for me, when you take that hour or two where you're gathering and focusing, it can feel unproductive, right? Because you're not responding to messages, you're not taking action. It's like all internal focused. And maybe at least for some people, and I think this is one of my struggles, is when I'm taking that time to organize, I don't feel productive. However, once I have all of that information focused and written down, it's a task list, it's a checklist, and suddenly I can focus then on the actionable part of that list, and I can start banging stuff out, and it feels great when you can check off those things, and you've had a very concentrated, actionable time, that at the end of that, when you've checked off all those things and you've made those phone calls and done those follow-ups, it feels really good. And it's given you focus to be more efficient in a shorter amount of time and get a lot done and have some great results.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all that kind of that high of getting things done, right, Craig?
Right.
Like that hit of dopamine. It's tough to start on the first one, but once you do it, you realize that it's really kind of satisfying, and it gets a bit addicting to go through your list. And then when you get your list done, like there's nothing better than that. Like you're done.
Right.
Go enjoy your family. Go do whatever you want to do. And you can do that feeling good that you've secured some loose ends or some leaks in your bucket of your business.
And even if you don't get through the whole list, having it written down and knowing I don't have to try and remember that when I'm having dinner with my family, your mind can relax a little bit, because I already have it written down. I know I'm not going to forget, because I'm going to go back to my list and all the detail will be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing what your brain can do. And It's amazing what your brain can do, even when it's not being a checklist. Our brains weren't made to be a checklist. Okay. It hurts your brain. It's like how we get clogged up. I gave myself a thumbs up again with technology here. So don't make your brain a checklist. Just get it down, and you will feel better about that. Good
deal. Fantastic advice, Todd. Thank you for sharing.
Craig, I did miss one as I was going through this. Yeah. Just one more capture device for you to look at. If you write down in a notebook, okay, so that notebook that you're writing, go to your notebook. Like I keep a daily notebook and I keep it digitally. Just go through that. I keep notes of my meetings and just go backwards. And is there anything in there that you need to clean up? Okay, so write it down on your checklist, and then you've brought it back up to the top of your page.
Good advice.
And just a tip I use there, and I stole it from someone else, but when I write my notebook and when there's something for me to do, I draw a box and then I write what I need to do. And the box, this is so stupid simple, but the box is just so I can go back and I can put a check mark in it. Like if I look at a page, it has a box on it, I immediately know there's something for me to do. And then I can later, when it's done, check it off, and that feels good as well.
An easy visual clue to make it less stressful to find that information that you have to follow up on. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. Any parting thoughts? Any summary for us?
Challenge is just to do it. I think you'll be surprised. And then comment below. How many things did you find? How many loose ends or leaks in your bucket did you find? And remember, a month ago, you were really excited about that lead. But if they don't feel excited about the excitement from you and you haven't followed up with them, do it. It's there. You guys have your business in your pipeline. Just please follow up. Do what you say you're going to do.
Todd, you mentioned, just as I think through this, you mentioned the panic that some people are starting to have with August and things slowing down a little bit. I think for at least those that have done this for a little while, and I include myself in this, I'm actually getting to the point where I look forward to a little bit of a slower season in terms of the activity of shoots, so that I can follow up on all of the opportunities and getting back in touch with clients, not taking them for granted. Because I start to get a little antsy or anxious about not keeping in contact with people because I'm so busy with the shoots. So take this season of things starting to slow down a little bit to do exactly what Todd has shared here, where you can take an hour or two and go through your capture devices and spend those 20 minutes going through your texts and just all the things. It will make you feel so much better. I felt good making that phone call this morning to a client that I haven't talked to in a while. At least for me, Todd, I think it's partially a guilt thing. Like I feel guilty that I haven't talked to her. So now that guilt is relieved. It's like, okay,
yeah,
we're going to catch up again. We're going to get things rolling again.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy how that just flipped a switch. Like you felt the little bit of pit when you saw the images, the new listing and the images, they weren't ours, and think now it's like, oh, this is great. Like she responded right back to me. Like there's something here we're going to uncover.
Right. And we're
nice
okay.
job with that.
And we're okay. Yes, I might not have gotten to do that. It might've been something as simple as I didn't have availability when she needed it and she just had to get it done. I understand that, but the relationship is still there and she's totally okay with talking about whatever it is. So.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this has been profitable for you and you can start to kind of take some time and get things organized mentally, take a breath. It's a great system to plug the leaks in your bucket, and you're going to see that water level rise and it'll be nothing but good for you. So Todd, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up. Next week, we will be talking with Nick, the owner of Titus, an exciting new integration coming to Spiro. So make sure you don't miss that. And just a lot more on the way for the rest of 2025 as well. We are so thankful for the time that you take to listen, to watch. Feel free to share. If you found value in this, leave us a like. That just helps us get things out to more people to help them have successful businesses as well. We appreciate you. You have a great rest of the week, and we will catch you next week. Take a breath. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.